Oops. Hello, everyone. Let me see. There we go. There we are. I think I did this right. Welcome. Welcome, my beautiful friends, soul family. Let's see. There we go. Yay. Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for saying hello, for being here. Hello, Beth, Lilia, Bridget, Carrie, Laura, Patty, Zonia, Beth, Tree. Hello, everyone who is able to be here live and in person. I hope that my sound is not too echoey. It is kind of what it is. I might just do one little touch up when I realize how echoey it is because I didn't do a huge sound check. Obviously, I've sort of rearranged my my usual view where we sit and do our other channelings or monthly channelings or in sessions. So I might just need to do that. Let me do that real quick. One quick second. So we're all set up. That'll help with the sound. And okay. I think that's good with the sound. Okay, it's better. Oh, yes, and happy birthday, Carrie. Tomorrow is your birthday, so happy birthday. Okay. Well, welcome. A couple of things. I know that we have a few people that actually did sign up who are various places and who will be listening and watching the replay. So those of us who if you could just let us know you're here, that would be wonderful. Thank you to everybody who has to participate in this. This is a really special thing that we're doing today. And I really want to acknowledge that. And I want to go slow. And I want to deepen and be really real with all of you who are willing to take the time and commit to a powerful download activation that we're going to be experiencing today. I'm really excited about this, and I had gotten the real clarity of the guidance on how and what to do, but at the same time, I'm just following that step by step. There is no script. I am being me, and then I am channeling, and then I am activating personally the stuff that I know to do in the moments that I know to do them. And so thank you for being willing to take the ride with me in this time, at this really powerful, potent time of our summer solstice in the northern hemisphere and the winter solstice in the southern hemisphere, and the eclipse, and given the new moon, and given the entirety of what we're all witnessing and being a part of and activating on this planet, which is really a thing. And we are all doing that. And so there's a lot going on. And I feel like we're all going through that every single day. Life is not the same as it was, if you will, right? And so I think there's a certain kind of sameness, but not really. I mean, I really see, for me, I'm experiencing on a regular basis the, I want to say the extremity of how we are actively changing life right now on this planet, old paradigms changing. And so before I get too much into it, I want to tell you that how we're going to go about this today is we're going to begin, and I have my little outline today of how I'm going to do this, because it was very specific from Osira and Mother Mary. And then I also had a super potent etheric seeing of Jesus 3 nights ago. and Mother Mary. But the activations that are going to come through are just really a highlight and order. And so what I want to do is be able to give us a break. So what's going to happen is, since we're scheduled to go from 11 Pacific time to 2, we're going to have a little, get up. Okay, let's everybody have a little restroom break and water or something, just to make sure that everybody stays. Obviously you can get up when you want to, but I'm saying I'm going to do that too. I'm going to call it an official. So it'll probably be just at the hour, each hour, because most people, we can generally focus for about 50 minutes. And I think that is something to pay attention to, because I want to have it be received and not overloaded in your system. Of course, you're going to get the replay, so you're going to get to hear this again, and you're going to get to go to the parts that really work for you, or really important pieces that you need to hear again. That's a great thing about getting the recording. And in the moment here, because you are willing to sit and do this work with me, and this deepening, this clearing, this activation, this holding the space, this remembering, this receiving, you are going to need to kind of resustain. So it's not lost on me that this can be and will be intense. I'll probably be, really hot soon. I'm already really hot. Let's just be honest. So anyway, so let's get started with that. I will basically say, let's go for a restroom break, and we'll take 5 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll pick up. So let's see. I'm going to pull a card, because I love pulling these cards, because they help so much. And isn't that freaking interesting? These two just fell out when I picked them up and started to shuffle. And so let's just talk about what they say. Oh my goodness. Wow. Krishna. And the thing is devotion. My contacts are not working that great. Sorry, guys. Jiminy. Wow. They're not good today. I need my glasses. Okay. Sorry. So the first word is devotion. And the second word is light activation on Sanat Kumara. And those are two definite words and phrases that I used, that I was told to use in writing when I was inviting you all here. Light activation and devotion. And that's powerful right now. So I want to just hold those two cards and remember why we're here. This is actually such a potent time. I think a lot of you are understanding how intense the times are. Obviously, I know you are, but how intense the time is right now with the eclipse. And the eclipse and the solstice coming together. This is a very pivotal point of the year. I have recently listened to a few astrologers talking about this solar eclipse and the solstice. And one of the things is that really this is setting up a huge, almost like a timeline jump or a paradigm jump or a determination. It's why Osira was nudging and directly talking to me about the devotion that we choose right now being very important on how we are then setting up our future. That doesn't mean that, oh my gosh, you thought one thing and you like decided that's the thing, and then 3 days later or 6 months later, you make a change, and that's not the same thing as it was when you made that decision. That's all okay. That's totally okay. It's important, actually. We have these ways of making specifics, but the divine orchestration that is happening on our planet, it's almost like, I would say, you can't stop your divine destiny. And that's kind of a powerful thing to say. And in saying so, you kind of have to drill down into your own faith about that. That's my experience. My experience is that for me to recognize that no matter what occurs and whatever choices I make, maybe I make choices that are not the greatest. Maybe they're choices that I don't. Maybe I made a choice that later I said, I wish I wouldn't have taken that turn. Even if I took that turn and it potentially wasn't the highest turn for me and I should have gone the other way, ultimately, we are on course with divine destiny. And that was another important word that was given with Osira. They kept saying divine destiny and sacred intentions. In part, I believe, because everything we are focusing on and everything we are thinking and our belief systems, which create our thoughts. So it's really important to be looking at your belief systems. Where do they come from? How have we been programmed at this time? And how do we keep liberating ourselves out of these programs once we begin to see them? That is an essential part of what we're all living through right now. And because we've been coming through this age of Pisces for 2,000 years, and now we are stepping into the Aquarian age. And in doing so, we are going to be dismantling all of it, basically, over some time. And when I say some time, we're not going to see it, most of us, in our lifetime, I would say. We're going to probably come back and assist on the next round. And that is a liberator. I have thoughts about that all the time. I have a lot of sessions over the years that people have said to me things like, I just want to do it right. I want to get it right this time. I don't want to come back. And I really understand that thought. And I sometimes will say to people, work with that idea. Work with the idea of what does it mean to be here, and really become liberated, really become sacred, autonomous, and sovereign in your heart and soul as a human being. That's a really good question to ask. And as we go through these times, it's even more of an important question to ask, because I think what happens is all kinds of emotional, mental, and even physical, but definitely psychological energies will come up inside of us that we're needing to parse out, to really look at our full belief systems and our constructs that we have been born into, and question them so that we can ask the authenticity of our own heart, the authenticity of our own soul, what's true. And that can be challenging if you've been heavily, dogmatically indoctrinated into any system. And I'm not talking about like if you were in a cult. I'm not talking, but I was having a discussion with a friend of mine, and I was talking about this in a certain sense. And I was talking about that in regards to culture, cult and culture. We have been born into culture that depending upon where you were born, depending on what family lines you were in, depending upon how you were raised, depending upon if you were given certain religions or systems of belief, basically. That period of time that you have been living in is, in a sense, a cult, a culture of time. And that is a part of the programming that has happened on this planet. And so many, like, let's take 50 or 80 years of time for people. If they got to live 80 years of time, they went through, and most, that was before they didn't get to. We live to generally, in this time frame of life, we're generally living to the 80s. That seems to be what I see in research and stuff. And in 80 years, let's just say 80 years, I'll use my grandmother as an example. I believe she was 81 when she died. And she was born in 1921. And she went through the Great Depression in South Dakota. And I used to listen to all of her stories about what that was like. and what it was like to leave South Dakota of 12 children. She was the second to the last. And what that was like to go through a childhood like that, go to school and leave to go to Minneapolis at 15, and then went to Hollywood at 18. And this was in the 40s. And so to hear my grandmother's stories about this, what she had to do for survival, what it was, to not be eating for weeks and just have bread. There's a lot of stories to all this. The point is that she was in a system that was culturally bringing her forward into her life. And when I got to be with my grandmother, which she was about 40 something, I got close to 40 years with her. I got to experience a woman who had been raised by this culture of time, this culture of indoctrination from the government, the indoctrination she had to live through for survival in the Great Depression, and then how that affected her. My grandmother also was a woman in Southern California in 1972. I'm pretty sure it was 1972. It might have been 1973, when a Black man who pushed in the system, I don't remember his name, but I remember the whole story. He pushed for women to be able to buy their own homes, and they passed a law that allowed it in California in 1973. And my grandmother had just gotten a divorce and had 3 kids, and was working as a civil servant, and it was 1970s. It was not a lot of money. The bottom line is she bought her own house. She was one of like the first 100 women, I think it was even less than that if I remember correctly, who got to buy her own house in Southern California without a husband. The potency that I see in all of these systems of how we are moving forward in consciousness from times where the evolution was not that. And we know that when we look at the history and at least what we know of the history of certain timelines and certain years and our history on this planet. So far, some of that is debatable. But to think about how our belief systems shape us. So my grandmother's sort of emancipation and her drive and her stories of how to be a sovereign, autonomous, independent woman shaped me, obviously. I cannot, but that's because I spent a lot of time with her, and I listened and I learned and I grew. And that is now coming back to me as a woman in my 50s with 2 daughters. I am very aware of the structures in this world, and I always have been. I've been very awake to that things are upside down and really wrong. We know it. And what is happening for us is we are waking up. And no matter how bad it looks, on the surface of what things are and how much we have to go through over the next 50, 100, 300 years on this planet, we are evolving as a whole of humanity in consciousness. And you are making that choice to do that just by listening to what I have to say, or to dive into your own metamorphosis, go through the changes that question your beliefs, go through the willingness to shed the ego's systems of holding us into a container to not change too much because it's scary. If we don't unravel, well, it's not even if we don't. The point is that we are unraveling what is not really ever working. It has been a system of domination and control on every level. And I'm not just talking about skin color or women. I'm talking about the totality of humanity. And so this time is so important to raise your own vibration and to remember the truth, to remember who and what you really are. And that comes from the inner deep dives. That comes from sitting in the fire of alchemical change within you. That comes from meditation. That comes from silence and listening to who and what you really are. And it is so easy to distract. It is so easy to get pulled into waves of energy that distort and pull you out of a higher consciousness. And I see it. I see it in myself at times. I definitely see it. If I get onto social media, I have backed out of social media like crazy. Not because I am in denial, but because I am so vigilant on the awareness to my own energy. I'm the only one living this body. I'm the only one making these choices inwardly. I'm the only one having these thoughts, right? So I flip that over to you. You are the only one being you, and you are so needed. We each are so individually needed to raise the consciousness in our own life first, in order to activate a higher light on this planet. That's what we do here. And it's not been taught. It's not been, overall, it's not been taught, especially if you've been indoctrinated into the cult of America, indoctrinated into capitalism. And I'm not shaming, blaming, poo-pooing the whole thing of capitalism. I'm not putting anything down. I'm saying that everything that we have come into and are a part of needs examination, needs a sacred eye, needs the divine feminine's wisdom that holds what is life for and about, to look at these systems, to look at, is this a highway, a high road? Does this be inclusive? Is this a focus of intention for good? Ultimately, is it got the highest potentials for all good? These are the ways we are going to have to self-examine ourselves first and the things that we are a part of in the world. And so for me, personally, social media and news and all those things, it's not that I don't check in. I do. I check in and then I get out really fast. And I don't do check-ins a lot. But the point is that if you do that and if you start feeling bad and you start feeling hopeless, which I have definitely watched my own self do. I see my children do it. You start to feel hopeless. You start to feel frustrated. You start to feel powerless. You start to feel lacking in faith, forgetting why you're here. That's when you have to pay attention. You have to be your own inner parent and really say no more and take good care of ourselves. So I don't think that I'm saying something you don't know. I'm just reminding you that it's really important to do these things so that we can elevate and consciously make choices for a higher way for ourselves. So, okay, so there's that. I'm gonna have a sip of my tea here, okay? Which leads me to this. Having my caffeine, actually, because I didn't sleep at all last night. If I have red eyes, it's because I literally could not sleep. Finally, I got up at 5 a.m. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because I can't, in all good conscience, leave out the reality of another aspect of what's happening on our planet. I could just talk about light and loving each other and going into unity consciousness. And that would only be half of the picture. And I am definitely not a half of the picture person. I am a real specific truth teller. And I have minimized some of that for sure over the last maybe a year or two, maybe, because I could see that we were going into some heavy duty changes. I've been doing this work for a really long time, a lot longer than I've actually been channeling. And at the same time, even though I've been doing channeling work actively since 2008, I was always intuitive. I always was seeing, and most of you know this because most of you have been with me. Some of you haven't. So it's good to kind of reiterate, though, that we are in many ways an interdimensional, multidimensional world. And when Osira talks about that, and when we listen to wonderful channelings about how we are the spirit or the soul and the essence of our eternal selves in a body, and we are in an evolving lifetime after lifetime expansion into that totality of remembering who we are, that we are all one. That does not leave out that we also have different frequencies. That's why the other word that was very strongly, and it probably was reiterated a number of times when I sent out the email, is that the frequencies on this planet are in a battle, and that's real. And we can see that through people, obviously. And I know that for most of you, you know what I'm talking about, that, you know, it's a real thing that we have to face our own inner demons and shadow, our unhealed parts, our own ways that we are experiencing polarity. And then we're seeing it outside of ourselves. And in that world that has not stopped showing us that, let's be real. So let's think about 2,000 years, because that's generally what people tend to think about, especially those of us who are in an awareness to Christ consciousness, which really is not about Jesus, the person or man who was on the earth. It's about the living embodiment of the Christed light, which is the ascension and the awakening to a higher living light embodiment, which doesn't mean we necessarily will even be on the earth. So if we talk about 2,000 years specifically, just about, or that thereof, of the Piscean age, we have been in this experience where the earth has been in her own evolution. There were less people thousands of years ago, and the earth was more awake and a different frequency of energy. Not more awake, just in a different frequency of energy. You could see energies and beings, and the veils were different. And now we are in a different frequency, and the veils are different and they are thick. And yet there's still the ability to have an awareness and awakening. So when I said to you that I didn't sleep at all last night, it was in part because I was connecting to so much, because that happens a lot, but I usually can sleep. And I also, I will wake up and I'll have information, things like that, but then I can go back to sleep. This was not the same. And that sometimes is because there are other energies that can see where there's going to be good, and that can see where there are openings. And I've had to deal with this for years upon years upon years, even when I was a child. And so I was sort of being, energetically bothered all night long, and I didn't sleep so good. And so the reason for me, well, I didn't sleep at all, but the reason for me to tell you this is because it is important to understand that we are dealing with this. We can see it in the world. It has manifested, and it is happening in some ways in us. And that needs to be looked at too. That needs to be like, where am I in discord? Where am I out of alignment? How open am I? And how aware of my openness am I? These are really important things too. I don't tend to say too much anymore the idea of, well, that's not true. I do sometimes say, it's important to remember that we need to protect ourselves in regards to, like, I sage my house a lot. I use Palo Santo. I use dragon's blood. I speak prayers and blessings into my house, onto my body. I do declarations. I do what I'm going to give you and teach with you today. I do it because I know the reality of this illusionary but seemingly really real world we're living in. And it's important to do these things on a daily basis or a weekly basis. I would say daily. It's really important to pray that I am safe, loved, and protected. That's one of my favorite. I say it often. I am safe, loved, and protected. I am supported. All things good come unto me. These are my kinds of mantras, and I repeat them, and they just go on in my head a lot of the time, because I'm programming this biological body. I am programming my consciousness. I am activating that I am in this world, and the world is going to respond from my biology and my emotions and my light and my consciousness, because that's how this matrix world gameplay is. So to take ownership of that is really, really important. To remember that there is a battle going on, and most of us can see it. I mean, I don't think there's too many people here on this call that don't really see the bigger play going on. It's not just about government. It's not just about bad people. There is, if you take that, what that looks like, or sickness, or whatever the other issues are, that we are in so many ways on this planet, there is such disparity of justice. And yet this is a great teaching. This brings us, am I in service to self or others? Well, the only way that I have been able to understand how to be of service to others is to first heal what is happening here, to really look in at what is going on within me. And then by way of my changing inwardly, by way of me deconstructing what does not work, what does not fit, it doesn't feel right. And that takes some serious inner awareness and discipline to hold and tether to clearing out the things that are not true and listening so very deeply within yourself. And in doing so, you are able to see that you willingly, easily, effortlessly almost are able to be of service to others and to the world. But that service to others and to the world does not mean that you have to go out and do a thing to or with others or the world. It means that you determine as a sovereign being, what is your highest and holiest mission? What is it that is your highest and holiest living? What is it you are here living to do? What is it you are here to be, to energetically anchor on this planet? I think that the more of us who are aware of this naturally, organically pick up their next pieces. They just, well, I feel like I'm supposed to do this. I feel like I need to do that. It's really time for me to step into this. It's really time for me to move there. And I'm feeling the desire to do these things now, which I never would have thought of doing. That's how we activate our purposefulness, our purpose for the world, for each other, for our own collective evolutionary oneness to evolve. So that said, is the reason is because I want you to remember that when you're looking outside at the world or having any experiences inside that are dark and heavy, or you feel in any way attacked. I mean, honestly, last night I felt slightly attacked. And then I just knew that, okay, well, God, I have gone through this many, many times. I'll be tired, but I'll tell the truth. That's my answer, literally. That's my answer to being authentic in my process, to being a teacher and willing to share my truth of transformation through even things like feeling like, you know what, I was kept up all night long. I could not sleep. I couldn't stop. There was a lot of information that I just couldn't stop. And that's a tricky one. That's a tricky way for interference. And interference is real. It's real on the multidimensional level, in the etheric realms. It's real on our subconsciousness. And it's real in the activity that can sometimes happen in our life. So I was thinking about that in regards to my daughter one time, where having an awareness to sometimes things have to happen to people for them to learn. I think about in my early 20s, and I had to go through some things where it seemed like bad things happened to me. My car got broken into maybe 2 or 3 times in like 6 months or something, or something happened to my car 3 times in 6 months. And I became aware of that having a bigger meaning. And I don't generally, knock on wood, have those kinds of things to go through, to have to learn, because I'm doing my very best to keep a pristine, sacred alliance in my heart to the field that I am living in, to the creation of my own living, so that overall, sure, I still have to go through things. I definitely go through things. I go through emotional things so that I can keep purging and clearing out what is not of the highest. But, when we look out into the world and we're seeing things that are heavy and dark and sort of a battle, and on another level, metaphysically, interdimensionally, that there are other energies that are doing their growth and ascension. Some even say that, and I do have this real interesting feeling about this now, about the lower dimensional beings and the ones who are tricksters and the ones who are doing what they do. And some of them get to be attached to people, and people don't really know how affected or influenced or run by these lower vibrational beings that they are. But I've come over the years and having direct experience with them through people and in the etheric envisioning world, because I am clairvoyant and I can see them, and I have seen them, and I've had actual experiences with them. And I used to, at first I was afraid, then I was pissed, and then I would send them away and all that. And over the years, I've just really come to understand that they are serving their part. They are evolving through, and some part of me even has this very keen awareness to it's like I see that in the world too. Even this is the next level of peace and forgiveness. It's not bypassing, and people have a lot of conversations these days about bypassing. And I think I don't have very often a need to defend my position about this, but I have seen too much and in the world, and had my own traumas and my own experiences of needing to forgive or to hurt forever. And what I see in people and what I see in these lower dimensional beings is this almost like a sacrifice for them. It's almost like and that can be hard for people. I get it. But like not a what's the word? They're brave. They have made, in some senses, these consciousnesses have made a very specific agreement to be a polarity of heaviness, of darkness, of abuses, of trauma, of things that they need to work through, and whether or not they've actually manifested or they are instigating that in a physical plane, they are helping us ultimately evolve as humans and consciousness, as the totality of us. That does not mean I sign off on it for abuses and traumas and awful things. I don't. And we are pulling the rug up, and everything that has been hidden under the rug is going to be and got to be seen. And that includes really bad, harsh things that really we do call evil. And when I was growing up, I never believed in evil. I was not taught that was accurate. It was just a man-made construct. But over these years, I've come to understand the way the world really is this way. We are dealing with all of our unconsciousness that makes us stay in a lower vibration. And we all have these parts. So what's crazy is all these years, Osira and Mother Mary, especially both of them, were always saying, going back to that our freedom and our liberation and raising our consciousness and evolving as souls comes back to always giving back to the place of where it is that you just feel that you cannot, you just don't forgive, or you cannot, that's the best way to say it, forgive. This is such a tricky piece because I know that it's hard. When we look into the world right now, it's so, we are racked collectively with this unfinished trauma for thousands of years. And it is time on a karmic level for us to heal and clear this stuff, absolutely. And it's going to take a long time. It's going to take a long time. We are in it together. And that's a long period of our consciousness in this evolution. So it's like every time we hold our hand back to pull another up to where we stand in our own growth, there's a gift there. And that is really important. So why I laid this out is because in our prayers and declarations, which is the first part of where we're going to start now, our prayers and declarations are for our human spiritual evolution collectively, in that we will be making these agreements together. We will be activating this and holding this in our body consciousness, that you are ready and willing to say that I hold love, I hold unity, and I hold a higher consciousness. And, you know, some people say that you can't do these things unless you've done all these things. And there's a certain portion of that that I absolutely agree with. But if your intention in your heart, if your heart and your soul says, I just want to clear that and I want to stand in love, you will be given what you need to clear what you need to clear. But that's not a determiner of your conviction of your heart. It's not a determiner that you have to have 10 years of clearing. You'll get what you need along the way. I declared who I was. I literally declared my life to the light, to the angels, to God. I did that when I was small, and I kept doing it my whole life. And I had a lot to go through. I had a lot to heal. And so it's not that you have to be at a certain place. It's not to say, well, you can't evolve and you can't devote yourself to the light and you can't do this until you've done X, Y, and Z, until this package is done, until this shadow work is done, or you have cleared all your traumas. I have opinions about that, so I'm going to leave those aside. That's not, from my lived experience, that is not accurate. I have been a progress in motion. I have been progress in motion. I have been progress in motion. And my progress in motion says, I continue to devote myself and my light and my life and my soul's incarnation to the highest order that I can serve, that I can be here and be the best and the greatest human being for my soul's evolution, that I may assist others. And I devoted my life to the angels for that. I devoted, as a little girl, it was the angels, and then it was Jesus and God. And I didn't think of Jesus as a man. It was just this knowing. And for me now, I understand as a woman that that's because I am in the lineage of the rose, and I eventually would channel Mother Mary. And all of these things, you could never have told me that this was going to be my life, but it has been the evolution of my life. And so I was always on the path of healing. Just like I'm saying to you, you don't have to be done with your trauma. You don't have to be absolutely seriously forgiving every single person in order to be willing to say, I stand as a sacred sovereign being of love, and I declare and decree that my life is of service to that. And any way that this soul can transform, I offer that into the collective, because that's really what we're here for. And meanwhile, as you do that every single day, because that's how I live, if you do that every single day, you will be given what you need. You will be guided to the right people, the right places, the right healing, the next person, the next book, the next experience that offers you the greatest level for where you're at, for that healing, for that clearing, for the purging out the trauma, for the forgiveness to really stabilize in a new way. So that's what we're doing here. That's where we're going here in our prayers and our declarations. So I'm meant for this to be active. And so in order for that to be what we're doing here, I'm going to ask you to participate with me, even though I can't see you. I believe that you have created a space for yourself, that you are tending to this with each other and with me, and that the angels are supporting us, and that the divine feminine in all of her faces is supporting us, and Osira and the highest angels and seraphim are all here, and the highest order of God is here for us. And we're called to this together in a holy way, that we are making whole on the earth an agreement with our sisters and our brothers to be here now and to do this work. So sometimes I'm going to ask you to get up. Sometimes I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. Sometimes we're going to do a little breath work or prayer. Right now, we're going to, the prayers and declarations for our human spiritual evolution, for the embodiment of living consciously committed to love, and for choosing the highest choice points individually and collectively. So that's where we're starting. This is our first part of this in regards to prayers and declarations for all of that. So what I would ask you to do is to get centered in your body, however that feels most aligned for you. And let's just come down and drop your shoulders. I believe you're all with me. So let's just do this part as our opening and activate this, and remembering that we're in this golden circle of light together, basically. And we are collectively adding into this huge pot for a human family on this planet, for all souls in their evolution. So dropping your shoulders and getting into your body in a really connected, centered way. Oh. Yawning if you need to. So these are going to be where I am going to open with a prayer, as I've already been doing in a certain way. And then I'm going to say some things, and then you'll repeat them for yourself. And we'll just be aware that we're doing this in unison, okay? Okay. Coming into the center of our hearts. Taking in a deep breath and dropping your shoulders back and down. Breathing in again deeply into the heart. And one more time. Closing your eyes. And I'd like for you all to envision that you're standing at a doorway, a beautiful golden doorway. In opening that doorway, we are all walking in together. And this is like a golden temple, very much. And it is beautiful, and it is warm and welcoming and safe and just incredibly loving. And you feel at ease and comfortable. And with your eyes closed, relaxing and almost rolling your eyes a little bit up towards your third eye, yet focusing at the same time inwardly in your heart. We activate the sacred seat of the soul in our heart and in our mind. The connection of the etheric realms of love and connection of spirit and soul, connection of the highest order of love, light, and unity, of all the highest beings in all the highest worlds of goodness and creation of love. We ask and we connect. And if you will, just imagine that you are with all the people that have acknowledged being here and the ones who are with us in another way, at another time, that we're all centered and we're connected in a certain sense. You're looking at each other, your sisters and your brothers, and connection to people and places where you know that love is activating and active for you. And holding that space, we drop into the center with the highest soul connection, with our heart as pure light and pure love and pure remembrance. And that this declaration and prayer and these ways that we are activating in our unity consciousness are stabilized in this body and with each other. So now in this moment, I would ask for your declarations. And the declarations for the highest order of love and unity to be embodied by you. So we would say together, I claim the divinity of my highest soul experience. I claim my sovereignty to the wholeness of love. I claim my living embodiment as light on this earth. I claim right action. I claim the order of light, of love, of goodness. I claim the holy. I claim righteousness within. Right alignment. Focusing in now at your solar plexus. Golden ball of light in the body. Activating the sense and the awareness to free will and choice. That is in a connection with sovereignty, that you are a sovereign being with free will and choice. And you are declaring now, if you so choose, of course, to end all contracts. So you may repeat after me. I end all contracts with any unseen energies of not the highest good. I end all contracts of previous life that do not serve the highest evolution. I end all contracts where I feel enslaved in any way. I end all contracts with nefarious or dark energies that I am unaware of. I end all contracts, past, present, and any unseen, on any timelines. And I hold to God, to light, to the universal source of my soul. As I evolve in consciousness, in unity, in love. I open a path of peace. I open a path of love. I open a path of high order, of living light embodiment. I declare this in the name of my own. I declare this with the highest order of love. I set this forward and I stand with these declarations for the intention of service to the highest love and the highest light. To the collective evolution that all beings are made free, that all beings know love. I stand for this. And I say thank you. And I say thank you. And I say thank you. And so it is. Thank you, all of you, for participating in that. My awareness is to tell you that you can do that at any time, not only the one that I just received, because I received so many, and I will tell you, I have so many on my phone. I have so many written out. But one thing that I feel is, for me, and maybe this is true for you, maybe it's not, but overall, my experience is that certain scripted things, they definitely serve. My experience is I am a living, breathing transmitter and receiver. So I'm receiving and transmitting, receiving and transmitting, receiving and transmitting, receiving and transmitting, receiving and transmitting. I am receiving and transmitting. I feel like that all the time. And I don't know if everyone feels that way. I know a lot of people do. And so if you are a receiver and a transmitter, And that's what we're here doing. We are embodying light and love and consciousness. Then be the receiver and the transmitter in the moment. There is so much power in the moment of that receiving, of that transmitting. And that's why, even though I have a lot of things written out and I could send out so many things, I feel the power in the receptivity in the moment. So I'm going to encourage you to do the same thing. Practice this and then let me know. Let us all know. Let's be accountable to receiving and transmitting the highest that we can get in every moment that we're receiving and transmitting. So when I walk my dog, I talk about this a lot. When I walk my dog at night, I literally am walking probably at midnight most nights because I'm so up at night, but I am thinking, saying, declaring, and decreeing the receptivity and the transmission. I am speaking good words. I am energetically sowing good light intentions as I walk my dog, even in the morning, all the time, especially when I walk my dog, because I get time away and I'm in nature or I'm walking through the neighborhood. And it's just like a really special time for me to be actively in meditation and in my declaring. So I would highly encourage that so that you become a prayerful declaration of intention and seeding. Many, many years ago, Osira would always talk about the golden nuggets. Drop the golden nuggets wherever you go. That's what they would say. And they would give us different ways that they would say that. And I started to understand what they meant. I mean, it was about this. It was about our prayerful receiving and declarations into the world. That is sowing the seeds of love. That is sowing the seeds of light. That is dropping the golden nuggets on this planet everywhere you go, as much as you can remember, and calling in that highest order of life and living. So that is our first step this morning. And then we're going to move on into the devotions and the activations from the divine feminine, which means that we are specifically going to have a channeled experience with the divine feminine, and it's going to be in those particular things, which I will say when I get back. And since I said we would take a little short break, we're going to take a 3-minute break to get up, move the body, clear yourself, go get some water, use the restroom, whatever you need to do. 3 minutes and we'll come back. Okay. So I'm going to do the same and I will see you in a moment. Okay, I'm back. I got my glasses. Okay, so how's everybody doing? I got my glasses because those contacts were just not working. Okay, so how are we doing? How does that feel? I hope that was all helpful. We can have a little mini check-in. Everybody doing okay? I'd just like to see how you're all feeling. And I appreciate that you're here, just saying. Okay. When I was talking last time, I had this remembering of something that I had written that I wanted to share, but I hope I can find it. Anyway, I won't waste time, but how's everybody doing? Okay. Here it is. Okay. Very good, very good. All right, my friends. Good. Okay, thanks, Laura. Hopefully everybody's back. Are you back? Let's start. Okay. I am going to put that there. And we're going to start. Hi, Bridget. Thank you. I'm glad you're good. Hopefully that was helpful. You know, I think it's important. One of the things that I do, as you tend to notice, is I do share a lot about my own experience because I feel that it really does. There's certain things about when we hear another person's actual experience and things that they've gone through or done, it really does kind of leave an impression for us when we need that impression. When it comes back around, it's like, oh, she did that, or she went through that, or I remember when she said that, or he said that. It's helpful. So here we go. We are stepping into the devotions and activations from the Divine Feminine for aligning our own body to be in receivership of the high guidance from within, for taking fears and transmuting them to greater faith, for activations of purpose and blessings in times of great change. So all of these particular things that I wrote down, which are on that email or that email about how the structure was going to be for today, most of you know that I don't generally do this. Like, I don't generally have a full, like, activated thing written out and how it was going to go. So here, thank you, Patty, for saying good. But I did today because when I got this information, or to do this at last minute during the week, it was because I was just, my whole circuitry had been lit up by Osira. I did a channeling. It was really powerful. I had a session with one of my clients, and then I got off there. And I spent about 30 minutes after, and then all of a sudden I just was like, bum, 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 hearing all this stuff. And I had to I felt like a little bit like just like I was pulled back into my office, and I just started writing down these things that they were saying to me directly. And I didn't, thank you, Tree. You loved it. I love it. I didn't question it. I just wrote that down. And then about a few hours later, I started writing the email. And, so here is what we are doing, because this is a potent time with the light on the planet. The way that the summer solstice is going to come in tomorrow, it's kind of activating us today. I don't know how many of you felt very, very tired this week. That's normal with what's going on energetically on the planet. I had to take like a nap a day for 2 hours each day almost. It was crazy. And I really honor that process. So today we're honoring this process that they have said, activate your body, activate your consciousness, activate and allow the receiving of these high key codes, these high codes of consciousness that are coming in on this light. And it's so interesting right now outside my house. It's totally overcast, but the light is coming through. So it's really bright out there. You might have noticed that the light changed, but it's totally overcast. So, you know, we don't have to see the light for the light to be activating in us and with us. My suggestion is to today get some sunshine, receive those downloads of the codes of light coming in. Tomorrow, go out and receive the light and ask for the highest information to download through your crown, through your consciousness and your heart, through the body, through the biological consciousness of your body. We are these amazing beings that are chemical in biology in order to activate a consciousness that is in its ascension. When we keep doing that enough, and ultimately that's what we're all doing, there will be no more embodiment. And so this is a special thing. I mean, I think that we think it's all so hard, and it is. It's very intense, and it's very challenging to be in a body and live in a life and do the evolving that we're doing. But we are so blessed, and that's where we have to keep coming back to. Yeah. Okay. So I want to just step away from that talk and just go right into it. So we are going to be aligning our body in receivership of high guidance from within. Here's the thing about that. The reason why they said this, because when I wrote these things down, it was specific, because they were saying you are aligning your own body to be in receivership of high guidance within you. So that's really important. It's not like you're getting something from outside of you. It is lighting up within you, even though it seems like it's coming from without you, like as if we're receiving this higher guidance. It's activating in you, because it always was meant to. You're a participant in this planetary evolution at this time, purposefully, right here, right now, on time. And then we are taking fears and transmuting them to greater faith. That is what we are doing here with this next piece, with the Divine Feminine. We are taking the fears collectively and our own, which really are one. So, you know, it's so easy, right? It is so easy to connect to a fear that somebody else has, and then like you can easily pick it up and start chewing on that and like have it be yours. It's happening all the time, every day, so much more intensely right now. And I know most of you can see this, that's the thing I was talking about, social media or the news. It's not to say we say in denial. It's just to say, I am a sovereign being. I can see that there's fear. I am going to transmute that fear that I experience. I'm going to look at it first. I'm going to feel it. I'm going to look at it. Is it real? Is it valid? All the things. You have to pull it apart. You have to dissect it. You have to look at that fear. You have to face it. You have to come nose to nose with that fear and deal with it and look at it and watch it transmute. Watch it dissolve before your very eyes. That is huge. That is huge alchemical sitting in the fire work. Do that when you remember. Do that when you can. Bring a fear to you and just look at it in your meditation and ask what this is about and see where it comes from and ask if it is still true and see if it has power over you. Listen, witness, hold that space. This is the sacred work. And when you do, you bring that fear right here and you look it straight in the eye and you will see it dissolves, it changes, it morphs. You see where it comes from. You watch it start to disintegrate. You see it fall apart. It's got holes in it. The story is not true. Why did I don't need that anymore. And boom, it transforms, it transmutes and transforms. Once we do that kind of looking and seeing about the fears that we are collectively feeding, we transform that into something that will literally, it comes into a new energetic frequency. It comes into faith. My experience with that too is that the more I will look at my fears, the more empowered I feel because I've gotten through them, and I create a faith that's almost the counter opposite of that thing that was my fear. So if I look at it, it dissolves, it magnifies itself into a new energy, and I'm willing to transform that into something that makes me feel empowered, something that makes me feel faithful. That's how I do what I do. And so that's what they were trying to tell me. When we were going to take our fears and transmute them to greater faith, that's what we're doing. When this channeling comes through, that's what we're going to be doing. And these activations with the Divine Feminine and devotions are for activations of purpose and blessings in times of great change. Purpose, purposefulness, and blessings, so that we are supported, loved, taken care of, guided intuitively in the right place, in the right situations. We are taken care of in order to hold purposefulness through our living embodiment. That's what we're here to do. That's what we're doing by this devotion, activation, and declaration with the Divine Feminine. So I'm laying out to you what it was that they described that we would be doing, that we're actively taking part in. When I go into this channeling, that's what this is for. That you are holding and willing to look at your faith, look at your fears in order to dissolve them and transform them into faithfulness, to make forward your purposefulness in order to have more of the blessings that will hold these frequencies on the planet. The more of us that carry that belief, the more of us that hold that remembrance, the more of us that activate that on a daily basis, we literally plug that into the field. There is a unifying field of consciousness all around us, and everything is happening here. Everything. You know this, it's true. That's sometimes really overwhelming and pretty scary and sometimes really depressing. So the countermeasure to that is, you know that all the things are happening. You know that there's a unified field of consciousness all pervading here. And you know that you take your sovereign activation within to plug in these higher order consciousness parts, which were, again, I'll say, transmuting fears into faithfulness in order to know purposefulness, in order to have and experience blessings, in order to activate all of that in the collective unified field. These are the activities that we're here to do. I'm trying to impart to you that this is what I have been guided to teach, to guide, to show, to reflect, to animate, to bring forward, to describe, to disseminate, that this is how to do. This is what the mother has said. This is what Osira has come around me and held the energy and infused into thoughts so that I would understand how to language, to share, so that we could collectively plug in this higher awareness through our own willingness to stand in these pieces, in these ways of being. So that's what we're doing. I hope that makes some sense. I hope that makes some sense, but this is really a thing. This is how they wanted me to deliver it. So I'm teaching you about what it is we're actively doing right now. It is for our aligning in our body to be in receiving of the high guidance within. That means you trust yourself and you're willing to go in here and do the work. You trust your own soul. You are willing to come inside of you and you're willing to take a look and you say, okay, what needs to go so that I can stand sturdy in faith? What fear do I need to face? Grab any one of them, pull it right there, sit in meditation, stand in your heart, hold your own and watch it dissolve. Unwind it, unravel it, deconstruct it, let it dissolve. And out of it, faith fullness will be born in your body mind, in the consciousness of your being. And then you will be able to take that faith greater into your body, into the world. It's like activating it from within to activate it without, for the purposefulness and the blessings that you be and embody and remember and share and hold and pray and drop golden codes of light. And then you plug that all up into the collective field of consciousness. That's what we're about to do. That's what you're going to do now. That's what you're going to remember. That's what's going to be living in your field from this teaching that I'm sharing with you, and then the activation of it with the channeling right now. I hope that makes sense. This is different for me doing it this way. This is very specifically different. So I do hope this makes sense to you. I believe it. I think I'm doing an okay job of explaining it. So now, because I've explained it about 3 times, I am wanting to get comfy, and I'd ask you to get comfy because we're going to have a receiving with the Divine Feminine. And this is just how it is, live and in person. So, okay. So it seems to me that in the live right here, and I do believe that all the people who signed up are women. So thank you, my beautiful ladies and sisters. So this is really a special and sacred thing for me, always, to be channeling the Divine Feminine. My journey with that has been a long one, specifically hiding out for some time. And I feel so basically in love with the Trinity of Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, and Isis. And I feel that lineage so deeply in my body, in my bones, in my memory, and in my soul. And so when I say all that this is what we're doing, when I described all that about owning it and listening to our faith within, to having it in our body, our bones, our breath, our remembering, our light, to transform and bring forward the fears into faith and activate that faith into the purpose that we live, that we call a high purpose to every day in our life, that we remember we are love embodied, we are light embodied, and our soul is here to evolve. That's what we're doing. And this is creating the blessings that activate that for the many, for the whole, for the oneness that we are, because this separation is an illusion. It's very good. We believe it very strongly, but we really are one, and we're here serving all. That's the thing. We don't really realize that until we realize that, until the spiritual road has brought us enough times to the places of forgiveness and the remembering that I am one, and my father and I, and my mother and I, and my sister and my brother and I, and the beings of consciousness that I can see and that I cannot see, we are one. This is all oneness. That activity that we are now about to call into our body becomes the living embodiment. So it's not like a one-shot deal and I'm just doing a channeling and you're just like listening to it. This is an activation, holding a frequency to your body mind, to your heart and soul, to the willpower of the creation that you've come to be. So that's what we're doing. That's why you're here. And we're going to go in now. So I would ask you, wherever you are, to center and get comfortable. You can sit in any way that feels right to you, holding the energy of your body upright so that you're receiving through the top of your crown. the connection of transmission that I am willingly activating with you and to you, and that in your body mind you're saying heartful yes to receiving. So if you would just open your body, your mind, your heart, knowing that our intention is the highest and the best of goodness and of love. And that we are surrounded, guided, and protected by the highest and the best, most living love, light, consciousnesses, and beings. And in this moment, we call upon, and I call upon, the Divine Mother in so much gratitude and in so much love, activating for these women who are here on this experience with me, who have been called forward to connect at this level, at this way, at this time on the earth, in their soul's journey. Activating where fear sometimes takes over, that faith may stand forward and in. And that where confusion and dismay, despair, or hopelessness may come in, that purposefulness and right action through blessings and goodness may come in and stand in the body, mind, heart, and soul of each one of my sisters in this moment. I call this forward in gratitude, and I allow the Mother I am here, dearest ones. I am Mother Mary, and in this way I come forward, standing firmly and directly with you, with each one of you in your hearts. I recognize each one of you. And in this moment, I stand with this beloved daughter in this way, with the languaging and the opportunity to anchor these particular codes of light, of the blue ray, of the highest order of love. That there is a knowing that comes to you, through you, and with you, anchoring love and light. The Divine Mother that I am, orchestrating these key codes and assisting the highest assimilation through your particular life and circumstances. Each one of you, I am in this moment recognizing clearly and directly for how it is you are participating, and I say thank you. I recognize you, and my heart does sing. In this moment, I come forward with outstretched arms, with the light quotient that will help and assist in the highest ways, anchoring through with the fierceness of a mother for her children at all times through love. For it is that I see, as the world is in its great changes, that there is a need to remember how very loved you are. How very loved you are. How my heart is your heart. And how it is that the great mother within you is resurrected, is so caring for you. I see many of you with the mother wounds that most all of you are carrying. And I come forward this particular time in the great awareness that the mother wound is to be healed now, so that the mother of love can stand forward. This is what you all need now. This is the way the world will change. In the external experience, you have been willing to incorporate and experience. This great wound that is affecting all life, that the mother has been blotted out or removed in the ways of the sacred, cannot be done any longer. Was tried, but cannot be done. For I stand here in that acknowledgement, holding that sacred space in my arms and in my heart. That there is no thing to fear. That I and the totality of love stand with you, merged in safety, connection, and unified living. That this way that your heart is wanting to hold and remember your safety, I bring. And in this moment, I truly activate these connections to you. Each one of you, I see your faces in this life and thousands of lifetimes before. Each of you, I see your heart's purities and truest intentions. And for this, I cannot describe to you my joy, the heart that I feel of your heart. You are loved, my dearest ones. You are loved. Your beautiful face I see now. Sweet, no matter the age. Innocent, no matter the age. You, dear one, in human form, are carried on the wings of love. This is the embodiment of the light you hold, and this must not be forgotten. Hear my words and the declarations I make when I say, I stand with you. I am with you. You, dearest one, are with me. In these ways, it is said, like the way of a person. I am aware of the languaging and how to identify with you individually, and I do in my own ways with you each. But I speak it from this vantage, being Divine Mother, holding a crown of light to the earth herself, holding the Sophia, Christed light of the eternal divine feminine, bringer of life. I hold that not only to the earth and all of the beings and the children and the light on this planet, but I bring it to you, to your soul, to help you remember who you are. Dearest, beautiful soul embodiment, you are the light of the world. You are carrying love, and you are carried on the wings of love. These transformational times are activating high light and that which is not high light. And yet I say to you, clear as day, do release your fears. Hold to the strength of the faith that would remember why you incarnated again here now, beloved ones, for you are an anchor of love. You are an anchor of light. You are an anchor of the unity consciousness that is being called forth in the years and the many years to come. This is spoken through her, this beloved one, many times, for I am intuitively aligned in speaking this as I am now, as she does as well, and as you shall be too. Let it fall from your own lips, these words, these declarations. Let it fall from your own heart that you would give this away, that you would stand in the face of anyone and say, I carry love, and I am remembering who I am, and I am consciousness on the wings of love, and I am embodied to remember faith, and I trust that I am holding the light and I am anchoring it, and it is a chief purpose for my living, and I am faithfully complying with these love orders for the new life on this planet to be continued and to elevate and to hold a new connection in unity and in love. All ways that you will stand, declare, decree of this to yourself and unto the world in any way, big or small, does not matter. I say to you, stand forward as I stand forward with you, heart to heart, for my heart is your heart, and your earth expression experience is pulling this equation to help you remember, while being in a body, what you have come for as you step forward. Step forward into the ring of light, remembering the angels on high, from whence you have come. Remember that all beings are here to remember the sacred order, and that not all beings are in the same frequency, but that is okay. And so I hear you, and I call forward this with you. Stand at the precipice of this time, dearest ones. Stand at the precipice of your own heart and call the highest light to you each day from this day forward, to remember your missions and the ways in which you are here serving yourself and all. That these ways of activating love embodied within your own life activates it exteriorly as well. Come into your own heart, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful one. And remember, I am with you. I sing these praises and these declarations. I decree with conviction and the all-seeing etheric eye of love that is the oneness of creation itself. I hold this to your heart and I walk forward with you. Dearest one, I assuade and wipe clean, clearing, releasing, and letting go any all pain wounds of the mother so that you can stand in your own heart and clear these wounds easily and with love and understanding for the journey you have come for. And allow the forgiveness to move into your body for seeing all beings as a part of a great and beautiful and masterful plan of divine order so that your rise is assured. So I stand with you, touching deeply into those wounds of the mother. And I say, be healed, my child, for I am here with you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Hi. Okay. Hi there. That was, I hope that was really helpful. And I just really want you to know, thank you, Beth. I want you to know that just want you to know that was incredibly beautiful, how I was seeing that and how I personally was experiencing that. And I want to reflect that to you. Thank you, Carrie. Very calming. At one point, there was something that she said where I came closer to the experience. I don't remember it. Most of you know that. But there was a specific phrase she said, and I wish I could remember what it was. But inside in the visionary state that happens within my psychic and clairvoyant seeing, it was literally like golden, like the clouds parted. That's the best way to say it. Like the clouds parted, and all of these like golden beings were just like almost like looking down. And I was seeing that. She was showing me, she was showing us, she was saying something, and that was connected to that. That was powerful. Sometimes I often joke with a lot of my clients and I say, I just wish that I could have some sort of, I don't really wish it, but I wish you could see what it is that comes through when I'm doing the channelings. It's so incredible. I hope that it translates and comes to you energetically. So there's that beautiful activation with Mother Mary. That felt really good. So how are you all doing? I want to say another thing here. Words aren't enough, right? We could listen to someone all day and we can feel really excited about it, and we can feel really supported and inspired. And then we have to take those words and that energy and move it into our own being and activate it in our life, right? I can get really inspired. I can hear lots of things. I don't read many books, but when I did. But you know, what I do is I listen to this. I listen to them. I listen to prayers. I listen to the inward experience that I am being, like I said, in receivership of. And then that translation is coming to you as we are doing this experience, or any experience I ever do. And sometimes what that does is that plugs in and activates, but it doesn't necessarily hold. That's why there's such goodness in being able to have these transmissions, be able to be on video and be able to be on audio, so that you can hear them again and keep receiving that information and keep declaring them on your own body and keep dropping those codes of light onto the planet, right? So I am going to encourage you to listen to this again, and to, especially where the channeled parts are coming through, to really listen to that and sit in that and receive it again. So the words felt really specific, and they were holding weight is another thing. So sometimes they have these sounds and tones, and if some of you here have been on the Golden Temple with me, where we did the Divine Feminine Temple initiations, and it was powerful teachings, and those were so intense that it probably takes another year to fully embody them and to receive them in the way that they were given. They were powerful. That's a lot of what we're experiencing, even in that right there. That was a small little mini wonderful poof of potency with Mother Mary. And now we're going to move into the Osira part. But I think, I think we'll go right into that. So the Osiris speaks and guides, illuminates with activations and frequencies. So it's very similar to the Divine Feminine, which I don't think we are. Oh, Mother Mary mentioned Sophia. I pulled some cards from before the session, and Sophia was one of them. Oh, nice. Thank you, Beth. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. There's so much to say there. And the connection to, I was just going to say that I don't feel like we're even done with the Divine Feminine. I'm just moving in this order, like with regards to Osira. I'm following what I'm feeling in the moment really strongly. And that was to come out of that particular little container that Mother Mary stirred and activated in that pot part right there. And we're going to actively do this part right now in regards to Osira, for holding as world bridgers to a new earth, for clearing old encoded timelines and activating the new, for an activation of living the freedom within that creates freedom externally. So I'm hoping you're seeing that the connection that I brought in the beginning, the connection that Mother Mary brought in, and now what Osira, this is weaving a beautiful tapestry of our anchoring of this expanded light that's coming through with the solstice at this particular time, astrologically, planetarily, energetically on this planet. It is not small. It is not average. This is not just another year. This is major. This is major, major, major. This solar eclipse tomorrow and the solstice is, number one, it's going to set up all kinds of energies for the next 6 months, if not for a full year. It's completely going to pull out things that need to go, that are maybe we have a hard time letting go of, but we have to change. And I don't just mean in the world, I mean in our own self and our own lives. We need to heal and change, and we need to grow up. We need to evolve in our next leveling it, right? In our spiritual walk and in our soul's quest to be here now, it's time. It's time for us to hold these codes of light, to remember who we are, and to be guided in the highest ways. And so I really feel that everything that they have given us, that I'm reading this from, that they directly said to me to write, is powerful. It is specific. It is specific for this time. So if you're listening to this now, we're doing it activated on the 20th. Tomorrow, listen to it again. And then for however many times you want in the next year, because this is shifting your biology, your energetic signature, your commitment, your devotion, and your activation. The more that we do that, the more that we, I don't even want to say practice, the more that we devote to that, we activate it and we become the facilitation of it. And we become a catalyzer in the world for those kinds of things, those things we devote to. So I'm going to read it again because I want to express what it means. You know, the holding, what Osira is going to be bringing is holding as world bridgers to a new earth. So many of you have, there's a number of you have done the world bridger activation with Osira. You can still do that if you haven't done that. That's on the website, I think it is. We can let you know. I know Laura will know. But the world bridgers is powerful. And I had so much amazing feedback about the world bridgers and the activations that was, because the codes and the specific frequencies they give in that literally activate you. And that is what they're going to kind of reiterate or bring into this too. It's holding as world bridgers to a new earth. So a lot of people out there are talking about things like timelines, about, there's a lot of conversation. You can have the timeline conversation about fearful timelines, or you can have conversations about, you know, ascension, and both can be very skewed. You can have these ideas about the timelines of like going to the fifth dimension, or, you know, a new earth being just utopia. And then there's other people who are going to be not in utopia. And then you can have like, you know, all of these kinds of thoughts. And believe me, I've been seeing that for 20 years, probably longer. And in regards to that, being a world bridger now, to me, with my understanding of Osira and doing the work with the Divine Feminine, has showed me that this means that everything that I bring is what I am going to experience. So everything I activate in my life is what I'm going to experience. That doesn't mean that if bad things happen, I made that happen to myself. It means that we are here to learn and to evolve. And so we are going to, in a certain sense, not everyone is at the same stage of evolving, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's all these, this is the beautiful tapestry that we are all in creation with, remembering our oneness. So we wouldn't have this experience at all if we were all at the same level. In a certain sense, we're saying, well, that's where we all want to go to. But you know, there's some value in this walk that we're doing. And so holding the world, bridging to the new earth, means that I anchor this light. That's what it means. And they're going to bring in these frequencies for that. And clearing the old encoded timelines while activating the new. Here's what I know about that right now, and I'm going to share this with you. For some of you who have not heard the high frequency sounds, the high frequency tones, the sequencing of numbers, these are things that Osira most definitely brings in and is going to bring in, I believe, today. That's what that means. When I wrote that and they were telling me, for clearing old encoded timelines while activating the new. When I wrote that, I saw like, oh, okay, they're going to be doing the sound frequencies that some, most, maybe all of you, not all, have heard. So you are going to feel and hear and experience that, and it clears energy. It dispels energies, and it enlivens encodement of the highest order. And for an activation of living the freedom within to create the freedom externally. The more of us that get internally free, energetically hooks up freedom on this planet. And that is a living right. And we have not been in that in the Piscean age. We have been in and under a collective kind of enslavement, whether or not it's through debt or actual person owning person, or, all kinds of abuses and atrocities through all kinds of different ways. We've been under a pretty heavy duty spell of not being free. And the more of us that get inwardly free, the more that we can plug that into the collective energy and the unified field, which then changes things throughout this timeline. So I was hearing, there was sometimes Osiris says this thing to people, and I'm going to tell you it. It has stuck with me through them, and I'm sure I've heard it through other people or, experiences. But it's kind of the same thing. It's like we could seem like we're free and we're walking around, but we can be completely not free from our fears, our addictions, our codependence in the world, in ways where we just don't live all free, all out, live all out loud in the allness of that which you are. I see the ways people live in restriction of themselves, and I'm just like, want to, shake them and like get free. But you can't do that to another person. You can't make anyone do that thing that maybe you can see where restriction is. The only reason I can see restriction in other people is because I have lived my own restrictions. And so shining a light to help others remember that they don't have to live in any way restricted, or restricted comes from me transmuting my restrictions and being free and standing in that autonomous truth of my being and claiming it. I would be remiss to not acknowledge that people can be in very bad situations, really bad, and definitely not be free, and be in really, really bad situations and actually still be free. And Osiris has used that many times with people, saying things like that there have been millions of people who have lived through experiences, who have been in jails or in prison cells, and who have still been, that was their life experience that was given in order to transform them, to help them know that the body could be shackled, the body could not be free maybe, but their soul, their mind, their heart, their consciousness is still free. And that is a huge lesson. That would be a huge undertaking. And so many have had that. I was recently watching something where that point was made to me, and it made me think of this with how many times Osiris has talked about it. That a man who was, I think that was on a Netflix thing, man who was, you might have seen this if you all watched it. It was on, I don't remember what that was called, but it was on, a black man was arrested and was absolutely innocent of a crime of rape of a white woman, but because in 1980 they wanted to get someone for it, like they always do, he was put in prison for 37 years. And it was DNA later. It was, I think, 2 years ago. DNA proved his innocence. They went back in and proved his innocence 100%. And he said at that point, when he was freed, he said, you know, they incarcerated me for 37 years, but they did not imprison me, imprison my mind. My mind was not imprisoned. That is mine, my free sovereignty, something like that. And that's what we're talking about here. We may be going through a collective dark night of the soul, either in this country or on this planet, because we have to clear things that are heavy and they do not work and we don't want them. And it is some evil and it is not good. And those atrocities and abuses need to change and stop. And that needs to heal. It needs to be in a recreation of love. It needs that. We need that. That is what the mother does. Good mother comes in and does whatever she has to heal, to take care of, to love, to nurture her children. So this is what we're doing. And Osira is activating that so that we know we are free, that this body itself, in a certain sense, is in and of itself can be felt to be the restriction of our truth, of our nature. And so by knowing that you are free, knowing that no debt, no government, no thing can really ultimately enslave you unless you allow it, you set yourself free. And so my feeling with that is I've lived with a lot of knowingness, a lot of things that were precognition. I've lived with a lot of things that have come to pass by seeing them ahead of the time. And that has caused me to have fear around the things that would come, because I would see them ahead of time and then they would happen. And then I would be like hysterical for a while. This was over the years. I would be upset and hysterical about, well, if I can see it and I can't, why can I see it, but I can't do something about it? So that would really frustrate me as a seer. And then I started to understand over this long journey that me seeing that ahead of time and then watching a thing come to pass, which I didn't want or wouldn't want, was a gift of me really learning how to transform that thing that before it ever got here. Basically, that if a thing is going to happen that I don't want to happen, how can I get free before it even happens? I hope that makes sense, but it's a process of, I guess I want to say it's a process of evolving. I will tell you that I don't want things to happen in this world that would hinder any of us. I don't want anything that harms or hurts or restricts or imprisons any of us anymore. But if that was to happen to me, if I was to go into a situation and had to be put into a situation or was made not free, I feel honestly that I have worked through so many, and still am, those fears about what that would be or how I wouldn't want it, that would just be my next level, that I would still just have to work through being free, more in this life. Because really the truth is that when you face death, when you really face that this is all very temporary, then there's a freedom that comes from into your life, right? That's what I want to say. There's a freedom that comes to you in your life if you face your fears and death. Your greatest fears are your liberation. And so if death for most of us is the worst fear, I mean, really, yes, none of us wants to suffer. None of us wants to go through pain and agony and sickness and torture in any way and all the things that we could think of, because the mind thinks of these things. Well, I wouldn't want to live like that. I've definitely had those thoughts. But if you think of those things and then ultimately get down to it, the bottom line is ultimately we're just really afraid of death. But when you face death and you really get to this place of like, I know this soul beingness that is inside of this body that looks like this time called grace, I am not the body, the presence that is the one that I connect to, that I know, that the soul is within here is eternal. I know this one. And so that's what I'm knowing that Osira is activating with this next session or section. And I'll read it again. Let's get up and move, because I saw Carrie. Thank you, Carrie, for telling us. Oh, and thank you, Beth. Trust you are divinely protected and directed. Yes. And Carrie, my body and spine is vibrating. I'm going with it. Yes, go with it. I think we should move for a second. All right. So I'm going to stand up, and I know it's not too, I'm going to move over here for a second and move my body. Okay. And I suggest you do the same so that we can do this 3 hours together in a way where we feel nourished. I'm just being free and being me, so that we can be nourished and not feel like, stuck. I don't want you guys to feel stuck or super drained or super tired. So move your body and shake it out. Whew, that feels better. And I think I will take that little break that we need to take now. It's perfect timing. My clock says 1:11. So let's take another 3 minutes. And we will come back in 3 minutes. Move your body, get a drink of water, have a snack if you need to. Go to the restroom. We'll be right back, and we'll do our next section with Osira. Okay, see you in a second. Okay. Next time I'll put music on. I'll have it all queued up. I was just thinking about that. Okay. Hopefully you're all back. I think you are. Yep. I can see most of you are back here with us. How are you doing? This is just really special. I hope that you're feeling that. I hope that you're hearing the depth of what we are doing, and that it is supporting you and aligning and connecting. So now we're going to go into this really specific piece and part with Osira. So again, I'm going to remind you, we are holding a space as world bridgers to a new earth, embodied with these direct activations and frequencies and the speaking with Osira for clearing old encoded timelines while activating the new, and for activation of living the freedom within that creates freedom externally. And how we do that is in service to the world, basically. We do that with ourselves and through ourselves, and we do it with and through ourselves as a transformation for the world. And then that naturally rolls out. It's like the more you do these kinds of things, you begin to feel the natural pull towards being of service in any way, whatever that means to you in your life, however that is that shows up. So we are going to receive this now. And like I said, I feel strongly that what they were saying is we are going to have some strong activation. This shirt is just not my favorite today, I'm going to tell you. Being real. All right. Okay. So centering so that you are receiving, so that you are aligning to the activation of your own body, aligning to the receivership, that which has been already activated with the Divine Feminine, Mother, and now with Osira. So again, getting comfortable, whatever feels right for you. Okay, so that's right. I'm going to do that. Right. Okay. Sorry, they're giving me a little instructions here. Okay. Right. So they're saying connections too. Oh, it's going to be big. Hang on, my friends. And for those of you who are new, I can feel its bigness and their commitment. I love Osiris so much, and I know so many of you do. So they're going to come in and they're going to be giving it. So my supportive reflection that they're telling me is actually whatever works for you. If you want to sit up or if you want to lay down, that's right. So, okay, here goes. I'm going to just call in this energy and prayerful intention. I call upon with my highest light, my highest heart, the intention for service to the infinite creation of love. I am in allegiance to the light, the angels, to God, to the highest order of living and evolving. I am gratefully in receptivity of Osira, and I transmit that with love and light and intention for the highest good, to lay in with my friends and fellows and citizens of this world in soul, body, mind, and heart. And in this now moment with my sisters, I give gratitude for each and every one, and I call for it and thank you for Osira. I hear you, see you, and know you, love you, and we do, and we thank you. And in this moment, I relax, let go, and I receive. Indeed. Greetings to you, dear one. We are the one known as Osira. And we are, in fact, as always, overjoyed to be in this alignment with you. We are recognizing you. We are recognizing the way in which this energetic signature is being elevated, energized, and activated. We are recognizing each and every one of you, a significance that we say is very particular, the ways in which each one of you and your potent portal of light is where you are, meaning literally where you are on the earth at this time in this full receivership. Doesn't matter if this is the word being listened to in a moment later, as you say, this live now moment is activating throughout all time, all space, all corridors of existence. And we are holding that tenet to this moment of your ascension process and the ways in which the activity is aligned to the high heart of your soul, the way in which your soul signature has said yes and stepped forward and moved through the veils of illusion in order to bring you to this portal potent time of now. This activation of time on this timeline is very specific. In this way, it is our gratitude for each one of you to participate with us. We say that because we are recognizing the willingness. That's what we want to say. The will to participate at a time such as this is no small calculation. It is exact. It is exacting. Each and every heart, soul, and mind, each and every way that you come forward in all activities towards a higher illumination of consciousness is seen, felt, and known. It is a reverberation throughout this timeline and the ways in which this world is participating. We are in this moment here in the recognition of that which is we have pushed our beloved channel to do. We would say the word do in the world. That's how you all participate. But this is more than that, dearest ones. We are amplifying a field of consciousness in direct connection to the consciousness of our beloved channel. It is similar to what the word, our beloved channel expressed in the beginning, that this is an activity of action that is being taken through your physical, emotional bodies, the ways in which you feel called forward, in particular of the receivership of that which is happening. Now, that is a lot of language to say we are so happy you are here, because there is a sort of, how should we say? The word. We want to say, we want to find a different word besides the word signature, but we will say to you, it's a frequency. There it is. We are recognizing that the draw to anything has a frequency. When you feel to go somewhere, when you feel and are drawn, called to see someone, to go somewhere, to do a thing, to participate in events, to call a person, these kinds of things are frequencies. This is the activity in which you participate, sometimes very sort of unconsciously, but it is still the fact. You are vibrating at a certain frequency, and that moves you to an activity to do in the world of form. This activity of doing in the world of form is a particular potent action. The ways in which you have asked yourself here, it's like the word, stepping up to your next parts of understanding, or the word, next parts of calculable ways that your soul has guided you. When we are here in this moment, we are recognizing the energy signature and some of the necessary spirals that need, what you would say, clearing. That's how we would say it. Each and every one of you are filtering. That is a good word, we will say. You are filtering some of your own energies for being in a human body, your timeline of connections to the earth. You are filtering your own lineages that you have incarnated into. You are filtering a collective agreement. You are filtering, the word, humanity as a whole, the earth as a whole. You are filtering also your soul's journey, the way in which you have come to be in participation upon the planet at this time. We want to say we acknowledge no small thing. We have been in support of this journey for a very long time, for hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of souls. And we will tell you that the way that you are moving is right on course. Dear ones, it was our specifics that guided our beloved channel to say the word, divine destiny. There is a divine destiny at hand here. We would say to you that there are no accidents, as we have always said. You are being moved through corridors of the expansion of consciousness, and you are in a tight spot now, we know. And we recognize many of you have had what you would say, well, it's been somewhat hard, but not so tough. And others of you would say, it's been very, very hard. And what we want to say is, do your best to release these kinds of ways of identifying. You are living. You are living. You are living through some things that feel tighter. That's to be seen, we say. And at the same time, the more you over-identify with these things, the more difficult you create the energy to feel sticky to you, right? So we're not saying you live in denial. We are not saying you pretend things aren't happening, that if you want to plug into those things, you can see how you feel, just like our beloved channel started to say at the beginning. But we want to express to you that how you be of service comes unto you in the ways in which you activate your identifiers and the filters of which you are either flowing freely or clogged up with. So are your filters clogged, or are your filters flowing? That is our question for you to answer. Paying attention to your filters being what they are, you would say, I see that I'm very clogged up in this area. Let's give an example. We would say, in my resentment of my family members and how I've been treated. And that resentment as a filter is clogging you up. It would be our pointer to this day, this conversation, all the activities that are happening in this way today with this energy gift in the way the group has come together, is to say, to look at those things and clear them, to uninstall them, we will go back to very simple basics when we say it's like going into your closet, nudge, 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 going into your closet and clearing out those things that do not serve you anymore. When you are saving things that do not work for you, you are holding something clogged up in the system. It's time to release things. It's time to unwind things. It's time to let things go. It's time to clear the filters, clear the drains in your physical, emotional bodies, your consciousness body, your emotional body. Why we are saying this is because your feelings at this time on this planet are going to be very paramount to your guidance. Your internal guidance system is a very important part of how you will move, what you will do, what you won't do, how you will be guided. These are important keys at this time. So clear your systems. We want to say this because we are noticing the physical body of our beloved channel. Some of these energy signatures so need releasing. So we are acknowledging that. Though some of that is already known by her. You are all going through difficulties in finding new ways of releasing energies because you have been in a different situation. Not the same life has been happening, so you've needed to readjust or find new ways or be willing to find new ways. But first you must see where you are clogged up in order to find those new ways. So when we go back to the idea of you have a resentment possibly of family members or situations or ex-partners or governments, or however you may have these holds or tie downs to resentments and frustrations, it's time to bring those to the forefront, to really examine them and to transform them by dealing with them. Is it serving you truly? to hold on to these resentments? Is it serving you to hold on to the wrongs in this world? Is it serving you not to clear these? And we would say, no, it's time to clear them. It's time to reassess. It's time to unwind some of these, we'll say frequencies that do not hold in your body at the highest level, because your internal guidance system needs to be on full speed, wide open in receivership. We are sometimes, the word, how should we say? We feel sometimes to be as pointedly direct as we can. And this is one of those times. You here are particularly holding key codes of a higher light consciousness that is willing to expand through and as you. It does not mean you have to do anything the way anyone else is. It means it is unto you, so that within you feel this kind of empowered place of your own knowing, of your own volition, of your own will to the power that would create in the world, even if that's just a simple hello and a smile to another human being. We would say that these times are requiring you to be braver by stripping off what may have been your armor and to come into the authenticity of a higher consciousness that would allow for a softness. Softening is a key to being able to truly unwind those stuck parts. So we are here this day in particular to open those clogged parts in a certain sense. And yes, you must still do the rest. You must be willing and wanting for your stuck parts to dismantle. And this you do, and then this the world does. You are in accordance with the world experience. No matter what is occurring out there, there is some aspects of that you hold. And so it is to purify, to align yourself with a higher dimensional frequency in the codes, to remember your soul's journey, not to not to walk away and pretend the world is not happening the way it is happening. It is to see the world as it is happening and do what it takes for you to hold your own light and love and peace, remembering that peacefulness creates the kind of safeties in the world because love is allowed to enter. This is the way of the future. It is the way that you become humanity evolving in consciousness while being in a body. And what you see now is a distortion and a disruption of the status quo that is held to what has been accepted, but is no longer acceptable. And that is going to change your world. And that is what you are on the tip of. This is a massive and major turning point. You are accelerating for the next 3 years, especially very strongly dismantling old systems. That for some will feel like the word prong, the word pusher, push you to the edge. It'll push some people to the edge because their fear brings them to, we can't change. It is the known that makes us safe. And so we are reminding you the points of light where you are, where you stand, where you hold, where you are the soul frequency of what you are, of why you have come, of the light force and love force that you are. To remember that it is not in the known that you expand. It is clearly in the unknown. It is in the willingness to be the adventurer. It is in the willingness to be on the edge and to leap and know you can fly. It is in the willingness to say, I trust life. I trust my life. I trust my inherent beingness within. I trust that I am safe, loved, protected, and guided. We say these things to our human friends because it is accurate. And the more that you remember it, the more you embody it. And the more you embody it, you encode it in all ways in and of the world that you are a part. You plug it in, as our beloved channel said. So that is this time. It is time when the light quotient is amplifying and you are holding a frequency that is setting up a very strong initiation. You are all moving into a time where there may seem to be like the endings creating, it seems to be the ends of things, the ends of things. But isn't it true to say that through an ending, newness is born, that through an end of something, something new is come unto you? That if you did not walk away from the old that did not serve, you would not experience something that enlivened and enlightened and woke you up and gave you love to the next degree that you couldn't even imagine. And especially if you would have stayed where you were. This is not a time for staying where you were or where you have been. This is a time for every day to say to yourself, how is it that I am feeling, and how can I assist my soul to remember the higher codes of the livingness that I am here to incorporate, embody, and activate? So we are with you on that level. We are with you in the connection to how it is that you are an anchor to the light force of love as peace initiated on this planet through you, through the ways of your heart. It is not the mental body that will get these things done. It is through the heart. It is through the alignment to the sensitivity of love. It is being the internal guidance system activated within you. It is through the intuition. It is through the receivership and the transmissioning that you will do. It is the way in which you activate to others. No matter what your station is in life, you can activate and initiate with others higher love, higher light, higher consciousness, in the ways in which you do this with yourself, because it will come, as our beloved channel again said, naturally and organically. This is the way of it. That is why she says it. It is why her living expression is showing you this when the speaking comes through. And we are a part of that. It is an energy system that you are a part of. You are a part of that which we are declaring, decreeing, discerning upon you, not discerning, disseminating, there's the word, dispensing, however you want to say those words. We are offering you the reflection of the truth that you are as we are. You are the light of remembrance. We come forward, we come back in time, you could say, to hold up the mirror to say, yes, 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 keep going, keep going, keep going. You've got this, go on, move up, hold your own, remember who you are, do the work, purge the stuff that does not serve. The world will change and will always change. It is going to keep evolving. There is no ending here, and there is no just beginning. It is all an eternal flow of life incorporating life upon itself for the remembrance of the totality of the oneness of love. That is what you are. And that is what is being reflected here. And so it is that we are with you and we stand literally surrounding you. We are these 12 in particular of Osiris. For many of you, you may have not known, or we'll say the word. We may need to remind you. We are 12 of thousands, hundreds of thousands, we would say by now, of the oneness of the creation of allness, known as Osiris, the house, the word. How do we say that? We want to say the incorporation, but we will say a different word. We're trying to find it. We are like a totality of consciousness as a group, family, light system, you could say. We are similar to the idea of many. And yet what we will tell you is we are coming, and we come with our beloved channel as 12. So we are 12 in particular this day, holding this frequency with each and every one of you in alignment, similar to being a circle of light surrounding and supporting you, holding you in that light of love, holding you in that remembrance of why you are here and how it is to activate, how it is to hold these sacred key codes of the divine information of light source that is coming to your planet in order for the facilitation of the ramping up of change. It's time for that. You are in it, and you so willingly signed up. You so willingly, bravely, and courageously said yes to this particular time, and it is magnificent. If you can but see that each and every day, wake your eyes, come back to your body and say, isn't it magnificent? Isn't it magnificent? It is magnificent. No matter what is occurring, it is magnificent, because this is life happening with life upon life for the greater expansion of the totality of the oneness to come into wholeness. That is what you are doing right where you are. And so being that, we bring it back to this. Being this that you are, remember, it doesn't matter all of the teachings. It doesn't matter how many books you have read. It doesn't matter how many teachers you have had. It doesn't matter that you have gone through this or gone through that. Those were the parts and the players, the things and the catalyzers. They are the opportunities and the gifts. We won't even say they are challenges. They are the activity of the catalyzation to evolve souls. This is it. You are living a great expansion in you, and the world is reflecting it, and you are all part of it, because there is only one and one thing here: life, creation, love, light. The expression of that, no matter what it seems to be. When our beloved channel talked about the darker, the lower vibrational pieces and energies and constructs and experiences and entities and experiences and experiences and experiences, we will tell you the reason why that is here is because you need the contrast. We know that it's sometimes difficult, but you do it in order to transform so that all beings come into the higher light consciousness. It is not to say those lower beings are here to pull you down or to just create havoc. They are in their evolution, and they are calling your attention to their evolution. You are all in this evolution together. Blessed be those who have come playing their parts, no matter what their parts are. If and when you can get to that, if and when you can have the neutrality to see that, if and when you can stand in the middle and hold the broader perspective of all those things and all those players, no matter what their station in life, no matter what wrongs they seem to have done upon the planet, and we understand that it is so. Seeing that from this different or higher or broader vantage point, that all is one, that in some way reflects to help you see, I can soften and trust the divine. I can soften and trust the divine. I can soften and trust the divine interplay that is occurring on this planet and with beings in every shape and form. That all roads, all experiences, all interactions are leading to the totality of the creation of holy union, of unity consciousness. And we want to say this to you. There are so many others. We don't like that word. It seems as if it's separation still, but there are actual beings holding a space of a higher light for you, for those who are in the disparity, in the painful places, who are holding a lower vibration. There are beings who are not incorporated in a body and who have ascended in through and to the processes of different dimensional frequencies and are holding like we are here with you. That is real and actual and occurring. So when we come forward, we are helping you to remember that you are on this road as a process to remember that you are all of it. This sometimes confuses and frustrates people. This we understand, but you are not a people. You are not even a person. You are the totality of the oneness of love, of light. Now, this is not to get too out there in regards to that spiritualism, when it could spirit or body or soul or on another plane of existence or out there in ascension somewhere else other than right here, because we know that where you are is having a heavy focus of being the human being that you are in, but you are the soul. And that's what we want you to remember. You are eternal light. You are consciousness as eternal love. You are information as eternal life. That's what you actually are. So here and now, you are heavily focused. I am this life, I am this body. And here you are doing it. You are being it. And we're here to remind you, we are flipping on the switch and we are holding a frequency of a new calibration. We say this to you. It is time. It is time for you to remember that you are a light quotient as large as the sun. You are a part of the sun. You are the sun. You are the remembrance of the sun, if you'll let yourself. Activate with that. Your sun, your brightest star, is holding life here to this planet. It is a perfect configuration, just as every part of you is a perfect configuration for exactly what you need in the totality of your soul's growth. The same is true for the world and the experiences that are occurring in the physical form of this a reality as you see it. We will remind you that though you may be doing what you are doing, being where you are being, there are other beings on this planet having vastly, radically different experiences. Some you would say are so much easier or better, and some that are, you would say, are so much more hard and much more difficult. And we say, and that is accurate. That is what is occurring here. Billions of you are having different reality experiences. And we are talking to the ones of you who can really hear that you are truly one. We are talking to you in the evolvingness of your soul. We are activating with you the remembrance of the reasons why you have come, to hold a frequency and anchor love, to anchor light, so that unity consciousness amplifies upon this planet, so that more and 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 more beings who feel separate remember the unity consciousness by the unified field that activates because you are plugging into that. It is a wonderful life to be lived. You can have joy and peace and harmony. And yes, you actually create the kinds of roadblocks that make you move through to the next level. And here you all are. You signed up for it. It is a big job. It's quite an undertaking. And you are working in accordance with so many who are in support. And so we will activate here with you in this moment the frequencies of higher consciousness that will attune you with these ways of amplifying your own highest remembrance. Remembering that you are an anchor of light, we say. The calibrations. Please receive as you will these connections as we speak them. 221, 221, open, clear paths, clear paths, clear paths, open heart, clear, 2-1. Seven, 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 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1. Complete in the name of love, we decree, declare, opening the eye of the etheric love, the eye of etheric seeing and knowing, the eye of the one-hearted, Christed light, we say, as we confirm and ground through the clarity of the willingness of the true heart of those of the golden key codes of love. We declare this, decree this, align this, confirm this as good and very good, sacred knowledge, distilled energies received, amplified of the heart, body, and mind of those who know their highest intentional living as a soul, as the way upon this planet forward with love, with light, with goodness, with creation, with the divine force of balance, of freedom, of safety, of health, of prosperity, of joy, of peace, of harmony, of the highest ways of all sentientness and all beings on all the worlds. We declare this as done with and through each and every one, in so much as you will be willing to receive. We say we are ever eternally happy, overjoyed, and aligned with you, knowing that you are with us. We say we give the highest gratitude in this moment. Honor is ours. You, dear ones, are so greatly brave to stand upon this earth at this time, ushering in a new time, a new way, a new earth. It is grounded through and with you and upon your completed yes. As you stand in the knowingness with this, we affirm it is done in the highest order of love, in the highest order of good, in the highest, in the most high decrees with creation of all beings, of love and of light. For that is why you are here. We honor this with you. We honor this with that which we see, all of your guides. We honor that which we see with each and every one of you, with all of your guides. We honor that which we see with the Divine Mother and the Divine Father. We honor that which we know is the way of the ascension of the process that you are living. And so we say, we look forward to more. We hold this with you. We look forward to more. We hold this with you. And we say, as always, our blessedness to the conversation of love and light for this now moment is anchored through and as your body beingness and the soul's remembrance of the works that you have done and that so shall you do. We bid you the most loving and magical and happy adieu. Hello. Should have brought a rubber band. Hi, everyone. Wow. Talk about hot. Hi. Wow. Hello again. I just have to say thank you so much. Yes, I am okay. Thank you, Beth. I am okay, and I hope you are too. And that was a big one, and I hope that that just felt wonderful. Yeah. So I know that this is a lot, and you are all receiving this. That's the truth. You're all receiving this. You're all receiving this, and it's a lot. Yeah. I don't know if it's considered light language. That is well, maybe it is. It probably is, but they call it light frequency, light frequency. I can't even remember right now. My brain's not quite working. Healing light frequency codes or something. Boy, my brain is not working right now. So I'm just in this energy, and I hope you are too. And I hope it is helping. Of course, I would love to hear how you're feeling. I don't want to take up your whole Saturday. And thank you. Thank you, Zonia. Powerful activation. Beautiful. Thank you so much. I so appreciate I'm so happy you're here. I'm so happy everyone is here. Thank you all for sticking with me in these 3 hours of activations and teachings and guidance and rememberings. That's really what we're doing. And I do want to give us a little bit of a breath activation before we complete, because we are to heal, confirm that, anchor it really into the body. And breath is really a powerful way of doing that. So is our visual states of remembering. So I want to bring you into not feel like I'm flying. Yay. That's a fun feeling, right, Carrie? I'm so glad. So we're going to anchor it into the body. And I don't want to keep you all day. So I'm going to start that now. My suggestion is still, because that was an intense one, is to just maybe shake it out. I know I need to. That was a big one. And whew, yeah. I would love to answer any questions if you have them before we start. Just if anybody has any questions, let's do just a quick couple minutes. 2 minutes. Wow, that was powerful. Body chills and major twitching. Yeah, totally. Twitching, body chills, activations, tingling, past visual life recalls, things, all kinds of things will happen during those kinds of activations with Osira. A lot of people here on here have done. Oh, thank you, Lily. I feel so gifted and blessed to have Mother Mary and Osira today. Thank you. That have done my workshops, have had this experience in person, and it's so potent. But I do believe that we are also able to receive it this way too. And so I'm happy to be able to have you be wherever you are, and that you still get to have this connection, and that we get to have this transmission together, because it's super potent and super powerful. So anybody have any questions? Let's put that out there before we move into the next little space and before we end. I'm going to read this part unless I see a question. The anchored breath and guided meditation, breath empowerment. For solidifying with breath and inner vision to activate all that this event will be catalyzing and offering us, just like I said, excuse me. For holding these new codes of light and information on every level, consciously and subconsciously, to focalize us in the highest ways. So to keep us focused and focalize our intentions for all of the higher lighted reasons why we are here, to come into us, to help us remember, to guide us intuitively, to spark an idea, to have an inspiration come, to know when and where to move or go. These are the alignments and the focus that we need in order to hold these new codes of information on every level, consciously and subconsciously. So in our bodies and in our minds and in our activity, that we may actually carry this anchoring fully activated in the body with the highest intentions and the highest codes of information out into the world by being it. That's what we're doing. That's what we've been doing all day. Okay, so that's what this transmission overall. So I got to say, thank you, my beautiful warriors of light, to hold this container, this sacred activation, and do this with me. Be this with me. Be this with them. Be this with the mother. Do this with them. Do this with the mother. This is what you literally are becoming by activating this together in this container. So I know it's a big thing, and I am aware that it takes what it takes to sit down and make the commitment to take this time and do this together. So thank you so much for doing this with me on this Saturday. Thank you so much for doing this with me, with them, with her, with all of us, for all of us, for yourself, for me, for my children, for your children, for our grandchildren, for this earth. Thank you so much for doing this. And every time you commit every time you're willing to sit down and listen to this again, because I know that that's a big deal, to carve out another 3 hours or an hour and an hour in a week. Do it like that if that feels right, but do it. Bring this to yourself and bring this into your body. Activate this at this higher level today, tomorrow, the next day, this next week, and let it amplify you. I'm so excited for this because I really, really feel that each and every one of you are a point of light, and a reason why you are connected to this is to amplify this. We are collectively doing this together. You may not be able to pick up the phone and talk to each and every person here. Maybe you can, maybe we can all get connected. But my point is that you can know that each one of these people here, each one of these beautiful women here are committed and holding this kind of light just like you. Can you commit to yourself and to them, to this earth, to this time, to this soul that you are with me? That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. And I wanted to offer it this way. I don't know, just because they showed me, they told me this was important. So I'm so happy and grateful and full of hope, really, full of knowing, full of faith, full of joy and excitement for even that it can look the way it does out in the world, that you know that there are other beautiful sisters, men and women, souls on this planet. People don't even realize how many people are doing this kind of work. People don't even realize how many people will never be acknowledged for their prayers and devotions on a daily basis, that there are people living in this world attending to prayers for all beings all the time, 24 hours a day. So this is morning and night, young people, old people, all people. There's so many beings on this earth transmuting heavy, dense energies and keeping things in a right alignment energetically on this earth. You're a part of that. Especially now, just because it's like being declared. It's like I don't know what every one of your previous life walk was. Some of you I do, but you're now in this real declaration, declaring who and what you are and how you're holding this light anchored to the earth. Thank you, Tree. I'm open to communicating with the group going forward if there's a way to do that or meet up again. Nice. I like that. Well, let's talk about that. You can all let me know if you're interested in that. Will you send me an email if that sounds good to you? One of the ways that we tend to do that seems to be on Facebook, but a lot of people don't like Facebook. Thank you, Beth. We like that too, huh? We could actually create a Facebook page if you're all interested in that from this channeling experience. And then we could commit to doing it a couple times, like every 2 months or every month. What do we feel? Oh, I love it. Okay, we've got 3 of the 10 that are on here right now. So 10 of you are on here right now. I just want to acknowledge that. Thank you, each of you. There's been a few who have popped off and on too. I've seen that. And then there's some others that didn't get to be in the experience live. So as you rewatch this, for those of you who are rewatching, I hope you will really know that we were holding you in this space, doing this with you, thinking about you. I'm knowing the majority of you and holding you here with us, even right now, even if you're not live. So we've got all these people who want to do it. I love it. Oh, Beth's in, Patty's in, Carrie's in, Zonia, Bridget, yay! So if you're all interested in that, I can try besides Facebook. If anybody has any really great suggestions on a way we can be connected, Laura might have a suggestion, but we'll talk about that and I'll reach out to you all and we will figure this out, because it would be so incredible to have this be a group of really sincere, sacred, like-minded souls, sisters who are willing to hold this frequency from month to month. Maybe we just do this 1 month at a time. Maybe we do it every 6 weeks. Let's just figure this out. I think it's wonderful. I love it. And Lilia too. Absolutely in. Yes, I know. That's the other thing. Let's be, for a moment, I want to check that too. These times can be a little isolating depending upon where you are. So we do need like-minded. We do need to remember that there are people who are on this planet anchoring light. We do need to remember that there are other sisters and other people on this planet remembering that they are an anchor of love and light, and they are doing the work on a daily basis. They are praying and making devotions and declaring where they stand with the divine feminine, with love, with light, with the Christed light, with Sophia, with Gaia, with all the things. So we are all doing some pretty amazing work, and it's sometimes hard to remember that you have others out there doing the work. So it can feel really isolating, and I know a lot of people get feeling isolated. So I would love to have this not feel isolated and for you to remember. So we will do. Yeah, Alilia doesn't do Facebook. Group email. Okay. I'm staying off Facebook now yeah, I know. That's how I've felt, Laura. I felt that way. I'm staying off Facebook for now and on the verge of getting rid of it altogether. That's how I felt. I was literally going to make a post about that yesterday saying, I just don't think I'm going to be on Facebook anymore. So if you want to be connected with the channelings or any events, I was going to say, you're going to have to go on my website, and we're going to have to find new ways of staying connected, because I just cannot go on Facebook anymore. It's pretty awful. Yeah. Most people feel that way. And yet there's sort of this addiction, and people feel like it's the only way to get connected, and it's not. So we'll work on that, and we're going to create this group here. That's what we'll do. So have a drink of water. It's now 2:11. I want to do this breath right now to anchor it all into your body. Definitely. Bridget, so much that and more. So I wanted to read you something here. Okay, here it is. So, all right. Okay. I need to read you something, and then we're going to do this breath to anchor it into the body. Okay, here it goes. So I get really strong downloads sometimes. Thank you, Tree. Yeah. I get some really strong information, and when I am, I don't always do it, but when I am good, I do write it down. So there is some things that I wrote back in May that I know is supposed to be read right here, right now. So I'm going to read this. And it may not make 100%, but you'll get the essence, because I wrote it as fast as it was coming to me. You know how that is? Well, I mean, especially as a channeler, sometimes I just don't want to talk, even though I'm a heavy duty talker. And I need to write it, but I was writing it actually on my phone. So crazy. I was actually in a bath. So this is a whole thing, but I'm going to give it to you, and I'm going to read it to you now. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Patty. Yes. Oh, I'm truly grateful to you for showing up and trusting us and coming and being a part of this group. It's really special. It's not a small thing. I just feel like that has to be said again and again. And I feel like maybe Osiris said that, but it's not a small thing. It's a big thing. And I'm grateful that I was listening to them and took the action, and you signed up, and here we are. So it is a powerful activation. Here's some of the things that I had to write down that I'm going to share with you, and hope that it comes out right, because I didn't edit it. Here it goes. When we choose to exit the game, the matrix in the outer world, which is currently heavily mind controlled, we exit. We step into our source code, soul covenant, Christed light. And I will not deviate from pure truth and right action of my soul's blueprint. I know why I'm in this world. I stand in the Christed light. I choose to allow the scales to fall, to be my noble expression of will, to become the higher life activated and lived. I step back into a space of humility, and I humbly and directly speak to the living truth. I move forward and protect pure truth. I have no need to defend or protect myself of, with, or by, or for any of the illusion that I have transmuted. No need to defend or protect myself for anything or anyone. I have met myself, and I have befriended my soul and all of the journeys to here. The only thing that is worthy of protection is pure truth. Where then I call upon this self right action in pure service to pure truth, whereby I conduct right action and pure truth to organize this reality that I am living and embodied in this way. This is a navigational tool, and I choose and declare this as the way. I revoke my permission of any type to be a part of any playing out of any and all timelines that are playing out simultaneous, past, present, and future on any interface of creation that is of the lower dark frequencies of any kind that in any way are not of the divine holy light of God. I revoke and I do not consent to any agreements or contracts that were or ever shall be in connection to or in concert with any dark energies, entities, beliefs, constructs, lower hyperdimensional, interplanetary, galactic earth agreements. Covenants or contracts are now absolutely null and void and ended and cut, cleared and released, in order that I live, be, move, manifest, create, build, see, hear, orchestrate, operate, and have my being, and love and live through the absolute love, intelligence of the highest order as God, as the highest holy light. I serve and live, move, and have my being in this way with the highest intention of love and transcendence upon this experience as my highest soul's declaration for good, as the highest expression of action and living, for service to the highest creation, for heaven, for the highest, best, glorious, light-filled, love-filled, health-filled, abundance-filled, protected, and safe-filled, happy, blessed, taken care of in all the most high ways in this walk, and for all others, I assist in creation with this for the now and the highest next level incarnations. Onward in service to the light of God, exiting the matrix and standing firm in the awakening of the soul within and the embodiment for as long as I can possibly serve. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So be it, so mote it be. So it is done, it is done, it is done. So be it, and so it is, and so I am. How about that? That is one thing that I wrote. Yeah. So I wanted to share that with you before we do the breath, to drop that magical, blessed download that came to me when I was in a bathtub, praying and doing my sacred cleansing, purifying kinds of devotional rituals that I do for expansion so that I can keep growing. And I believe that so many of you are doing this. I believe that if it's not like I do, that you're doing it in your own way, and that's perfect. That I am just sharing with you how I do what I do to remember who and why and what I'm here for. And when the perfect alignments happen, I remember that I'm the emissary of light, and I'm a son and daughter of the Most High in all different kinds of incarnations, and that I've come to remember who I am, and that I get distracted and I forget and I fall down and I get hurt and I go unconscious, and then I wake up and I start it all over again, and it happens like all the time. That's how it is. And yet I hold the tenet to my divinity, to my divine purpose for being incarnated. That's what this is. And so that kind of living, that kind of devotion, when I talked at the beginning about examining your beliefs, examining the culture we've been born into, I have unwound so many different programs. And that's why I share with you these things. That's why I tell you these things, because there's been times where I have literally swept my whole consciousness clean. Like I number one, I've had near-death experiences, but number two, I have dismantled beliefs, and I've looked at these beliefs, and I come back to these essences, and they are divinely guided essences. They are not like, I am not reading books to get this. I am listening. So I'm wanting to help you remember that. It's not that they are the way. It's that they are reminding you, like I'm reminding you to listen to your essence, to maybe throw out all the books and all the teachings and all the religion and all the lifetimes, and just get down to try, however that is, to purify, clean out, undo, question, let go of everything, and listen to your own heart and soul. Listen to what is that naturally wells up in you. And it takes work. It takes work to be able to really hear that, like, that still small voice that they talk about. When that still small voice is talking, that still voice, that soul's voice, you do. And that's what I'm sharing, how I listen, how I hear, how I'm guided, how I see, how I'm led. I'm authentically, really and truly, like humbly just saying, this is all I know, but I believe I'm here to share that with others, who then take that as a nugget of love and light, and then find a way to do that with themselves. It doesn't have to look like I do it. It doesn't have to sound like I do it. It doesn't have to be a thing in the world like I'm doing it. I'm just saying, pointing you to your own heart, your own soul, your own voice. Question, dismantle, find out what's true for you, what's true in your heart, in your soul. What's the true voice? What are the words that come to you? What is the language, the sounds, the tones, the frequency that is authentically yours, not someone else's script, not even mine? I share that not because you should write it down and say it too. I share that because that's what came out naturally. And I want to inspire yours to come out naturally, and to have your voice sing your truth to you. Oh my God, there is so much liberation and freedom and love and expansion there. That's what sets my soul on fire. That's what sets me into ecstatic bliss for being alive. Then I feel that, and I share that, and I listen to that, and then I go out into the world, and I'm like in love with the world. I'm in love with people. Even in these circumstances, I feel the judgment drop from me, and I'm like, wow, that's where they are. And there isn't judgment. There's just a standing in the witnessing, noticing that that's how it is for them, for that, for this, for that, for the whole world, for him, for her, for this. And I just stand, and I'm a witness to it in a sort of neutral place that has me being an observer while holding in as much light and love as I can, without judgment and preconceived belief systems ruling and operating me. And I believe that if we can do that as a sovereign whole entity of ourselves, if we can gather all the fragmented parts of ourselves and really come into wholedom the way that Mother Mary does, and the way that Osira loves us, we have to go, love you. Okay, thank you, Laura. We have to allow that will expand. We can allow that will expand. So this is my desire, obviously, and my excitement when we come together and I get to share this with you, that this is a way, not the way, the only way, you got to do it like this, but a way. Your own inner voice, your own sweeping out everything to come back into what's true. Sweep out everything so that it comes into what's purely the truth for you. And I believe that will have changed. And as we go through these next few months, it will change. It will change. You will become, in a certain sense, can become born again. Clear out. It's like, I do believe that this time is going to extract things, and it might feel painful. We might go through some things where things look scary or ugly or worrisome. I think these things are going to have to be extracted out. And it's the same with us. We have to look at what's going on in there, and we have to extract some things out and be firm and committed to the devotion that there's something new that wants to be born through us. And there's the old operating system is just not working. And maybe we've done that time and time again, but we're here again. It's time to clean it out and really come back into purity. That feels exciting. That feels like the new world. That feels like the more of us that do that, the more we change the world, the more the field changes. So that's what we're here for. I'm going to bring us back to the breath real quick for the reasons why we are here. Solidifying the inner vision to activate all that this event will be catalyzing, meaning not just this event, the solstice, the new moon, and the eclipse. I mean, like power packed, and it's going to last 6 months to a year of this energy. And it may not show up what this is changing and catalyzing in our lives right away. Very often it comes in 2 to 6 months to 8 months later. But I promise we are going to feel some change going on. That's for sure. So set your intention for it to be high and good. Set your intention for you to be in the right place at the right time. Really anchor these codes, these activations that we've been given. It will really serve you. Okay. That we are holding these new codes of light and information on every level, consciously, subconsciously, to focalize us in the highest ways. And that we may actually carry this anchoring fully activated into the body with the highest intentions and the highest codes of information out into the world by being it. So that's what we are doing. So if you can, bear with me just for, sorry, we did go over time. If you can bear with me for 5 minutes of focus, it would be better if you would lay down, and I'm going to guide you. And getting your body relaxed, breathing for a moment, just feeling into your body. My thoughts are that you're laying down and you're listening to my words, closing your eyes, taking in a really deep breath, and then letting it go. And another really deep breath in. And let go. And one more in. And release. Now putting your hands, your left hand over your heart and your right hand on top of your left hand. We're going to do a very specific mini version of a breath that I teach. And I want you to hold in your mind's eye yourself. See your own beautiful, beautiful self. And in your mind's eye, I want you to see yourself filled with light. Your body is literally electric light. Every cell is illuminated with golden light. And now, the breath you're going to do is going to be only through your nose. So it's in through the nose and out through the nose. In through the nose Out through the nose. In through the nose. And out through the nose. Keep breathing like that. In through the nose. And out through the nose. Keep breathing like that while I discuss to you what I want you to visualize or imagine. I want you to just breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Deeply connecting your whole body. Anchored, feeling the fullness of your breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Keep breathing in a rhythmical pattern. And I want you to visualize your body as this beautiful light body, and that you're receiving of everything that was given today, both through the mind, through the sound, through the heart, in through the nose, out through the nose, is being received on the breath right now. So everything that you took in visually, emotionally, physically is coming in through the breath and out through the breath, in through the breath and out through the breath, in through the nose and out through the nose. Just keeping that rhythm as I speak to you, and keeping your eyes closed and feeling your body. Feel your body filling up with more light every breath you take. In through the nose, out through the nose. You're filling up your body with oxygen and light, consciousness and connection. Your breath is the most underused tool. Keep using your breath and anchor everything we got today, everything we received, taking it all in, amplifying that light tenfold, 100-fold. Keep breathing, keep breathing, keep breathing. In through the nose, out through the nose. Deeply, fully, big. Everything you have is amplified 100, 1,000-fold. Into the nose, out through the nose, creating a field of light all around you, a bubble of energy, a connection of unifying unity, love, and light. Anchoring these codes, keep breathing deeply, activating your high heart, activating your womb, activating your whole body. Fill up your body with that breath. Don't stop, just keep breathing, keep breathing, keep breathing. Keep your eyes closed and see that you are creating an incredible light, a bubble as big as your house of energy and light, of connection. And I want you to see that bubble even as you're breathing still in through the nose and out through the nose. Keep breathing, keep breathing, keep breathing. That bubble of light and your body is literally got a golden cord anchored to this earth. And yet it connects through your heart up into the cosmic realms of the celestial, light-filled goodness. All these celestial temples of light, where these higher seraphim and angels and the highest beings of love are, connecting to God, Goddess, Mother, Father, Creator, creation of all that is in the highest light and the highest love. You are anchored through your body, through your breath. Keep breathing. And everything received today and every day after that you are in practice and remembering this, even if it's just a thought, you amplify it on the earth. You connect it to others. You fill the field up with light and love and unity consciousness. And that is affecting all beings. Keep breathing, keep breathing, keep breathing. And as you do this, bring yourself back into your body. Keep breathing, in and out your nose only. And bring yourself back in slowly, slowly back in to your heart center, completely into your heart, back into your body. And let's slow down the breathing. And now I'm going to count to 3. And wherever you are on your breath, we're going to take in one big deep breath when I get to 3. 1, 2, 3. Big deep breath in. Hold it. And release out the nose slowly, 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 slowly out the nose. Slowly, slowly, slowly out the nose so that you are pushing the air out of your belly, emptying your lungs all the way as much as you can. Keep breathing out. And return back to your normal breath. And just acknowledge your commitment, your devotion, your willingness, your connection to others, to the seemingness of others, for we are all one, really, in our hearts and in the souls and in the unified field. We are remembering the truth. We are awakening to the truth. And we're here on the earth to help anchor and remember that truth. So we support that. So in this moment, say thank you to your beautiful, precious self for doing the work, for doing the connection, for being the connection, for aligning, for being willing, for saying yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you to your precious self, your precious heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my dear friends, my sisters. And just relax, be right where you are. And I just want to acknowledge that every part of what was offered here today, and that we went really long. Thanks for sticking with me. And thank you for attuning to this higher frequency and this connection in your heart. And now go forth and carry it onward. We will be sending you the replay so that you can work with this as much as you can. I really appreciate every one of you. I know that it was a long one. I think it's needed. Tomorrow is a powerful day, but we're building to that right now. Today is a powerful day. Tomorrow is an intense and powerful light-filled day. With the eclipse happening, it means we've got to extract things that don't work, but we're being influxed with light too. So there is so much happening. Take this and really understand what you're doing, and remember your devotion. Remember that your soul is on the planet right now. You didn't leave. You're here. You're here doing this. Thank you for that. Thanks for connecting with me. And we'll see about getting us together, doing it every once in a while or every 6 weeks. And I promise we'll figure this out. And I'm honored to be with you on this journey. Thank you for entrusting me and sticking with me and being in it together. Go forth and multiply the light, my friends. I love you so much. Thanks so much. And bye for now. Have a wonderful day. I'll be thinking of all of you today and tomorrow and in the weeks to come. And we'll talk soon. So much love.